morning amongst us here we have various people. Everybody is a guest, everybody is equal, and everybody is very, very welcome. But there's a couple of people who have been with us down through the years. They're not with us this morning. Mrs. Mackey would be one, so we send her our best wishes on this very special day. I'd like to welcome Chairman of the Cork Ex-Boxers Association, Mr. Murphy. I'd like to welcome Colin Thomas, our sponsor. I'd like to welcome Finn Barr, our Lord Mayor's escort all the time, man who drives him around the city, and every Lord Mayor at Cork, Finn Barr Archer. Very big warm welcome, Finn Barr. I'd like to welcome our two champions and our awardees and everybody in general. The Lord Mayor will now speak next. But I'd just like to bring your attention to one very important thing, and it's this. 10 years ago, on this day, very close to it, we had a breakfast inside Clancy's inside in town. We had quite a few of them in there on and off. And on that day, Katrina Toomey was also with us. Over that last 10 years, we've had quite a few breakfasts. But Katrina Toomey has been responsible, almost single-handedly, in that period of time, for the serving of, that 10 years, 1 million meals to Cork people for the poor and the destitute of Ireland. 1 million. And if anybody thinks I pulled that figure from the top of my head, it's very easy to make it up. Nearly 300 meals a day, 7 days a week, multiply by 52 and then multiply by 10, and you have your million. And that's the service that she has given to the people of Cork. And we are delighted to have her once again here as a guest this morning. I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker, Leeside's first citizen, a man who's in the boxing fraternity, who's Lord Mayor of Cork, who has done the county board and numerous services down through the years in giving us rivets and pivots of information that were very important to us at crucial times, and for that we're grateful, and we're delighted to see him here today, this morning, in his capacity as Lord Mayor of Cork. Councillor Fergal Dennehy.
Thank you for the lovely invitation. And actually, strangely, it's my first boxing breakfast as Lord Mayor. I have been here as Deputy Lord Mayor, as last Lord Mayor, and deputised over the years, and great to be in this venue as well. I was thinking on the way out, we're going so far out of the city, and then remember, of course, we're actually in the city because Blarney came into the city in 2019. Obviously, it's not my area, so I won't be familiar with the boundaries. I want to join off the cuff talking. Join with Mick in paying tribute to Katrina Toomey, an incredible woman, and great to see you up and about after, you know, I said to you on the way, and you can't kill a bad thing, avoid the rashers, and you'll be fine. And no, just thank Katrina for the incredible work that she does with Cork's most vulnerable citizens. And, you know, Katrina does an awful lot of work behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. It's calling to people and delivering stuff to people, you know, and it's not on the social media because she doesn't publicise those people. You know, it's not right to do that. So we just want to acknowledge that again, Katrina, for the incredible work. This morning is about acknowledging all of you. I thought when we arrived it was a talker event. When I see everybody outside, Andrew and Shane and Tig and Rose and Anya and of course Kieran as well, I thought it was a talker event that we were having. And I guess I've said this so many times over the last number of years in capacity as last Lord Mayor or deputising, particularly as Lord Mayor, huge admiration that I have for everybody in boxing, because I see it. I see the work that you do, travelling up and down the country for sparring, people coming in, and this is all outside of the regular training sessions, you know. And again, for me, my involvement with Toca Boxing Club started when we founded in 2013. I do very little these days. It's the incredible people in this room that do all of the work. For me, it was about getting young people off the street, and you know, that's what you still do. It's giving them that sense of direction, that sense of focus, and we know that, you know, sometimes it's the boxing coaches take on the parental role. They're the people that are guiding people, and you know, I've seen people over the years, I won't mention their names, but certainly the people in the Toca Boxing Club will know the people I'm talking about, young men who could have easily gone that way and kind of spent their Friday nights down in the Wella and they didn't. They came to the Cork Boxing Club. Well, Andrew Thornton was probably down there, but anyway, that's another story. We won't go into that today. Andrew does huge work with our young people as well. But you know, you really have made a difference to so many young people's lives, and it's something. It's a bit like the work that Katrina Toomey does. I know, Mick, you could put a figure on how many meals, but how many people's lives you've saved. You know, actually saved, by bringing them down the right road, you know, and giving that sense of confidence in themselves, giving them that ability, and giving them something to do, you know, a couple of nights a week you have. And, you know, I'm referring to the Toka Boxing Club, but that's replicated right throughout the whole boxing fraternity. Each and every single one of you, you do the very same thing. And, you know, I know from dealing with different coaches, there's different aspirations. Some it's about, you know, the technique and getting to the final. Others it's you know, it's that minding people. But the combination of you all working together has such a significant impact right across our city and county, with 30 odd boxing clubs in Cork at the minute. Like, so many lives being touched. So many, you know, it's a ripple across effect right across families as well. So, you know, for me, I'm humbled to be at an event like this in the company of greats, people who are brilliant, you know, and I'm really pleased that the County Boxing Board and Mick have taken on the idea of recognising the people behind the scenes, because Rose reminded me recently, she came in, I asked her, I remember the phone call, I was on my way back from Galway, and asked Rose would she do the door for a night, and that was 7 or 8 years ago, Rose. And she's still doing the door every single night. But there's people like that, and these are the people that are being acknowledged. Tonight, this morning, we're recognising two great boxers as well. But it's the people behind the scenes, you know, without Rose on the door, welcoming people, and, you know, into the club and looking after all of the paperwork and stuff like that, and handing it into the coaches. Then it really is a collaboration of the admin and the coaches and everybody else in the club. And it's wonderful that these people are being recognised, Mick. And I want to acknowledge Mick O'Brien. There are some, I look around the room, some will remember 2013 when we started. The meetings, county board meetings were held up in the Loch Community Centre. I don't know, could I put a word on it? A war zone, I think, would be a war zone. I remember coming back and speaking to Andrew and Shane and others and saying, I'm not going there ever again. I'm never again giving up a night to go up there and listen to this, people shouting at the chairman and absolute scandalous, disgraceful stuff, you know. Mick changed all of that when Mick came on board. And I think a very significant part of that is the breakfasts, is the dinners, it's all of those other events, because, you know, no longer are ye kind of coaches in opposite corners, it's bringing people together, you know, sharing views, sharing experience and stuff like that. Social events like this morning make such a big difference, you know. So it's such a transformation in the last 13 years in Cork boxing, and down to Mick and to Colonel. And thank you for sponsoring today as well. You know, it's great to say I support Cork boxing, but when you actually put your hand in your pocket and you physically support it, we really appreciate your ongoing support over the last number of years. But, you know, I just, again, look, I'm going to finish on this at the risk of waffling on for too long. Just thank each and every one of you for what you do. To the county board, again, you know, the work that you do, going off, becoming judges and referees. You know, Louise, I think in particular, was one of the first to step into that mantle, and just pure passion for young people, passion for boxing, and passion for our community. And like I said, I'm truly humbled to be allowed in to be a part of that. I will finish on one thing, sorry. The Lord Mayor's Cup, something that we have been discussing. We've met with the chief executive of the IABA, and we're looking to do something. So as all of you probably know, we have a huge connection between City Hall and Cork Boxing, something that I'm very, very proud to carry on in my term. People will know City Hall was the original venue for boxing in Cork on a Saturday night. It would be full to the rafters. So I'd like to bring it back to City Hall. I would like to do something. We're looking at doing something there, and I want to sponsor a cup as well that will just, I suppose, cement that tie that we have between the office of the Lord Mayor, and I'm one of the custodian of that for 12 months, but something that will cement that into the future while also reflecting back on the past to the original home of boxing in Cork. So have no fear, Mick O'Brien is on the phone constantly about it, as you all know, but it would be nice if we can put something together. You know, we're looking at a few different options at the minute, but something will certainly come in the next 5 months before I finish anyway, would be my desire. So we'll keep that going, and we'll keep you posted on that. So again, listen, thank you so much for the invitation. Delighted to be here.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. We appreciate your presence here this morning amongst us, and thank you for your very kind words. I'd like to thank Dougie Minahan for being here with us again this morning as photographer. He's been very loyal to the cause for many, many years, and I'd like to thank Daniel O'Connell, who's done tremendous work with the camera for us over various events over the last couple of years. We really appreciate that. My own officers, particularly the ladies on the committee of the Cork County Board, the work that goes on a daily basis on the phones and behind the scenes is remarkable. Just over the blue last week in the certain premises, John walked in there, John Morrissey, and when you look down, you see a group of us down the corner, and we're plotting and planning. That's where it comes. It just didn't come off the top of the head all the time. There's a lot of work goes into what goes on behind the scenes. But everybody, as I said initially today, are volunteers, and in that there is great appreciation. One very important thing I need to say here now and now. Tonight, in the National Stadium, we have a boxer who's going for her third elite title. She's up against Gráinne Walsh, who's a world bronze medalist. She's well capable of doing it, and I would like, on your behalf and on my own behalf, to extend to somebody that we are very proud of, Linda Desmond, and we are very proud of her fantastic coach, Shawnee Barrett, who is here with us tonight, or this morning, and I would like to say, on behalf of everybody, that we wish her well, and we send her a big, big message through this loud clap. Now, I'd like to start the awards this morning with our two intermediate stroke senior champions who are magnificent ambassadors for boxing, Cork, and for their clubs. They represented the south side and the north side, and I'd like their team coaches to come up with them as well, John and Paddy from Spartan and Golden Gloves Club. Up just here for a moment. And the two boxers. Pauline O'Regan. Leah O'Keefe. Andrew Thornton. Eugene Brady. Well done, Eugene. Jimmy Stanton. Kim Lingwood. Hartnett. I'd like everyone you know today, we guys join me please and give a collective round of applause for our awardees this morning. Finally, there's one more award being presented this morning, and it is in recognition and acknowledgement of a man's contribution to the sport, to the county board, to professional boxing, and to other things as well. Over the last 12 years, he's done a lot for us, Cork. He's done a lot for himself as a sportsman within the boxing community throughout the country. And this morning, we are delighted to have the Lord Mayor of Cork make this presentation to Conal Thomas. Cork Boxing Hall of Fame Supreme Award 2025-2026, presented to Conal Thomas in recognition of a phenomenal contribution over 12 years promoting boxing on Leeside. Thank you, Conal.
Thank you very much. Thanks a million. Thanks.
Thanking Gary and the staff again for a beautiful breakfast this morning, and as well as that, thanking all the awardees here this morning for their attendance. And I hope this will be a treasured memory for you. And when you get old and grey and badgered, the tray will be still there looking down at you as you're looking up at that today. Good morning, Claire. Thank you.